Hi guys, hope you're doing good. In this video, we're going to learn about Oracle. Now, Oracle is one of the relational database management system. Let us go ahead and see what is Oracle and how to use it. Now let us first see what are the Oracle statements that are available. First is data definition language. Now we have 5 data definition language, that is create, alter, drop, truncate, and rename. Right? So this helps to define what and all I just want to do. That's the reason this is called as data definition language. Next is data manipulation language. Now I've created something and I've done something, and if I want to manipulate my data, if I want to go and modify something inside that, then I'll be going for data manipulation language. So those are insert, update, delete, and merge. Next is the important thing, that is data query language. Now I did everything, right? All my data are stored perfectly. It's there safe. Now, if I want to see what is there inside that, and if I want to retrieve my data and see what is present inside and how I did it, so this data query language helps me in doing that. Next is data control language, so transaction control language, that is commit, rollback, and save point, right? At some point of time, you're doing some work. If you want to save it, or if you want to see what is there inside that, if you want to save at some point of time, yes, I can use this. And if I say like, I want to, after saving, right, I want to completely commit it, right? Yes, I've done my work, then you can commit it. And if at all you want to roll back the thing, whatever you did, yes, you can do that with the help of rollback command. And final thing is the data control language, that is grant and revoke. This permission is given by the database administrator. Now let us go ahead and see all these things in detail. Data definition language. Now, if I want to define a structure of a data, right, how the data is going to get stored, in which way I'm going to store my data, I'll be using data definition language. This helps me in structuring the data, or like I can say if I want to create something, all right, I'll be using data definition language. Now let us go ahead and see what are the things that are available in data definition language. First one is create, right? This helps me in creating a table. Drop, this helps me in dropping a table. If I want to delete a table, yes, I can do that. Alter, yes. No one is perfect. No one can assume, right, what can happen before itself. Prediction is very difficult. So this alter command helps me in altering my already existing table, right? Next is rename, right? Obviously, right, we have to rename a table, right? If at all I feel the name is not good, I want to change the name, yes, I can do that with the help of rename command, right? And then truncate, right? So these are the 5 commands that we are going to see under data definition language. Create table, right? So in my PPT, I would have, in my presentation, I would have given, right, somewhere caps, capital, and somewhere small. It doesn't mean that you have to use only caps, and in those places you have to use only small. I've used that to differentiate between the keyword and the user defined things. So that's the reason I've used caps and the small, right? Wherever I use, right, capital, it means that those are keywords, right? User defined, sorry, system defined keywords. And wherever I've used small, mostly it would be the user defined things, right? Just to differentiate. But as far as Oracle is concerned, it is case insensitive, right? I can give either in caps or in small, right? It doesn't matter whether I can give the entire query in caps, or if I give entire query in small, it doesn't matter. Both works in the same way, right? For example, if I'm creating a table with name employee with full caps, and if I want to create one more table, and if I'm going to create a table with the name employee in totally small, no, it will not accept, because here it's case insensitive, as I said, right? Whether it is in caps or small, it doesn't matter. Employee is an employee. Got it? Okay, good. So let us go ahead and see how to create a table. Let me give the syntax first. Now I'll say create table. Now here, create and table are keywords that you need to use. It's already built in thing. And then the table name, right? For example, I want to create a table, and then I want to store something to it. I'll be saying create table and followed by the table name. When I say table name, it is a user defined one. It is going to define by the user, not by the computer itself, right? So that's the reason I've given create table and the table name. Now, as far as Oracle or any RDBMS is concerned, your data will be stored in the form of rows and columns, right? It's not like scattered, or it's not stored in the format of documentation. It will be always right, stored in the form of rows and columns. Every information that I want to give have to be get stored only in the format of rows and columns. Now here you can see create table and followed by the table name that I'm going to create, and inside that I'll be giving a lot of columns. Now columns, what is this columns is all about? That you might wonder, like, what is that I'm going to do with a column? Yes, every column is a data for me, right? For example, if I want to store some information, right? So every information is divided in the form of columns. Okay, let us see that with an example. Now here my example goes like this: create table, table name. Now here create table is again the keyword and followed by the table name that I'm going to create. Now here I'm going to create a table for representing an employee. So when I say employee, yes, it is the name of a table, right? Employee is the name of the table given. It means that it represents that I'm going to get some information about the employee, right? So here we can see some information that I'm going to get stored. That's the employee ID, his last name, his first name, and address, and finally city, right? If I want to add some more, yes, I can do that in the future. But now, as of now, I'm having some 5 fields. What are they? Employee ID, right? So after employee ID is the column name, right? That I'm going to represent the column, and followed by that you can see something called as number. Now here this number is a data type. So when I say data type, it represents that what type of data I'm going to store. It's called as data type. Right. So this number, varchar2, right, char, all these are data types. Now, why do I require this data types, and what does this does? Right. This data type basically informs, right, what type of data it can store. It means that when I say number, I can store only numbers, nothing other than that. Now, for example, this employee ID, right? So in this company, that employee ID is going to be only in the format of numbers. I cannot store a character coupled with employee number. For example, if the company name is ABC, some company would give ABC and the employee number is 1001, ABC 1002. But this company, what the requirement is that the employee ID is only numbers, nothing other than that. So when I say number and followed by 6, what does 6 means? It's the limit, right? This represents the limit of digits. How many digits a number can hold here? Only 6 digits, not more than that. So I'm giving a constraint that only 6 digits can be stored for this employee ID, right? For example, some companies may say that only 6 digits for an employee ID. Yes, well and good. I can create a database accordingly saying that I say number of 6. So when I say number of 6, yes, it's only 6, not more than that. And varchar, right? So this varchar2 is one data type, right, that helps me in storing alphanumeric characters. What is alphanumeric characters? Yes, I can store both character and as well as number, and both together as well. For example, if at all I want to store something, right, with alphanumeric, right? For example, my employee ID, as I said already, it is going to be ABC123. Yes, well and good. We'll go for varchar2, right? So, and we have char. Now, what is the difference? You would have wondered what is the difference between varchar2 and var, right? Both are going to store alphanumeric characters. Yes, obviously. But what is the difference between those two? When I say varchar2, yes, there is a advantage in using varchar2. When I say varchar2, when I say 255, right, and I'm in on among that, right, my address takes only 50 characters, right? My address is going to take only 50 characters, not more than that, right? Now, other the 205, right, the left out is 205. Now, what will happen to this? If at all I've used a character, it will allocate 255 bytes of data. And if I store only 50 characters, other 205 bytes will be allocated, occupied, and will not be used for anything else. I'll be wasting my memory. But when I say varchar2, what will happen? When I say 255 and I'm going to store only 50 characters, there's 205 bytes which will not be allocated, which will not be occupied unless and until you store some data. If at all I'm going to store 255 data, yes, you're welcome. But if at all you're going to store only 50 characters inside that, The 205 will not be occupied unnecessarily, right? So with the help of varchar2, I can save my memory space. But when I say character 25, 25 is fixed. I cannot change it, right? So if I'm going to use only 5 characters, my 20 remaining characters will be waste. You with me, guys? Okay, good. So this is how I create a table. Now, when I create a table, what will happen? A table will be created in the form of rows and columns. Yes. And what this will be my EMP ID, memory allocated for my employee ID. Yes. And then next column will be my last name. Let me put L name, because if I'm going to write last name, there'll not be any space for me to do it, right? And then I'll say F name for my first name. Guys, don't, it will be storing only first name and last name, right? Don't think that it's going to get modified and stored as L name and F name. That's for my, right, for my easy, I'm just doing this, okay? So first name, and then I'll say address. And then finally, I'll say city. So this is how the table will be created. Now, what will be there inside my table? As of now, nothing. It is an empty table. Only the structure is there. Nothing other than that. Only the structure of the table will be there. A table will be formed. Columns will be allocated, right? Employee ID, last name, address, and city. Everything will be allocated, but nothing will be getting stored inside it. Because it's just a table structure. Nothing is getting stored, right? Unless and until I go and store, nothing will be there inside. Now, what I did, I've created a structure. That's it, right? Nothing more than that I'm doing there. Okay. This is how I create a table. A very important thing in Oracle DBMS, right? So one of the important thing in Oracle database management system is just creating a table, because without creating a table, I cannot do anything, right? If I don't have a wall, I cannot go and draw. Now, how is that, right? You ask a painter to draw something on an air. It's not possible, right? So if at all I want to store some data to it, yes, obviously you need a table to store your data. So that helps you in creating. Which helps? This create table command helps you in creating a table so that you can store your data inside that. Got it? Good. So now, next command is drop table. Now, what is this drop table is all about? After creating a table, I feel that my table is no more required for me. I don't require it at all. So what should I do? By mistake, I've created it, or like whatever I've created, it is not required for me anymore. It's obsolete. So what I should do? Just go and drop it off. How will I do it? But it's just a command called this drop table followed by the table name. Which table that you want to delete? Yes, that you give here. And you would have seen that I've given semicolon at the end of it, right? It is must. Every Oracle statement must end with a semicolon. That means that I'm terminating it, right? I'm terminating my statement saying that this is the end of it, right? So every Oracle statement, make sure that you're terminating with a semicolon. Don't forget it. That's very important. As like people who are from various programming languages, right? Either C, C++, Java, or C Sharp, right? You will be giving a semicolon at the last. The same way, your Oracle also requires or ask you to give a semicolon at the end to say that that is the end of your Oracle statement, right? Now here I say drop table followed by my table name. So when I say drop table, table name, it is going to eliminate my table from the database, right? So you have a database here. You have a database here, and there is a table created with the name employee, right? Now here, I don't want this table anymore. When I say drop table, table name, this table which is present inside my, right, present inside my database will get erased totally, right? It will no more be there. So this will be erased completely from the database. So whenever I feel my table is no more required for me, just simple say drop followed by the table name. Sorry, drop table followed by the table name, right? So any DDL command mostly will be having drop or any command followed by the table keyword, right? This is must, right? So anytime that you feel that you have any doubt, you just remember it is a DDL command, DD, right? So when it's a DD, data definition language, your command will be always followed by the table, right? Create table, table name, drop table, table name, like that. This table is must, don't forget that. Now, how will I do it? Drop table employee. Now, the employee table, which is already created with the help of create command, will get erased, will get deleted out from the database. Shall we move to the next one? Yes. Now, alter. Now, this alter command helps me in altering my already existing table, right? So you can say that anyone cannot do a complete or perfect table, right? Anyone can create a complete or perfect table. It's very difficult. Now, this alter command helps you in doing altering the table, right, in whichever format we want, right? If at all I want to alter in some way, yes, you can do that with the help of alter command. Good. Let me give the syntax for it. I'll say alter table followed by the table name, and I'll say add column and the data type, right? Now here what I'm doing, I'm altering the column, right? My column have some particular data type. For example, my column is of type character, and if I feel that now it's occupying more space and I want to be optimized, right? I want to optimize the table. Yes, you can do that with the help of varchar2, right? So you feel that it is not going to be, it's not stable, right? Sometimes it is taking 5, sometimes it is taking 25, sometimes it is taking 100, right? So I'm not sure about it. I cannot go for cat 100 because if it's going to take 5, 95 bytes will be occupying the memory without doing anything. So you should not make it sit unnecessarily, just throw it off. How will I do it? With the help of varchar2. Very simple. So if I want to change my column name, right? If I want to change my data type of the column, yes, I can do that with the help of alter table. And if I want to add some constraint to it, yes, I can do it with the help of add alter table name. So alter table name, add column. Now what I am doing here, I am creating a new column to it. Right? I said something, if I want to change my data type, yes, I can do it. If I want to add a constraint, I can do it. If I want to add a new column itself, yes, I can do that. What I'm doing, alter table name, add column. What I'm adding a column, I'm adding a new column called as email. Before it was not there. Before I had something that is your name, employee ID, that's the last name, first name, address, city, all these things are there. Now newcomer is there. Who is that? Email. Now I'm adding a new column called this email, right? Now here I add a new column called this email, and that's of type varchar 255. So I've created a new column, right? So now add constraint. Before we have seen adding a column, right? Now we are going to see how to add a constraint. Now what are the constraints that we have? What is constraint, right? If I want to say to my column saying that you should be only like this, you cannot be like that, you have to be like this, you have to do like this. So these kind of information can be done with the help of constraint. Now what are the constraints that we have in Oracle database? Now when I say constraint, we have constraints like primary key, not null, many other things, right? Foreign key, right? So we'll see those things in detail, but as of now, when I say add constraint, yes, I can do that. So when I say my column, after creating a column, right? After creating a column, I feel that some column must not be null. For example, my email ID must not be null. Every person must give his email ID. Yes, I can do that with the help of add constraint and make that column as not null column. So when I make that column as a not null column, it means that that column cannot be empty. That column must have some data into it. Yes, I can do that. And if I feel that some column, right, must and important and it cannot be null and it is going to represent the entire row, that column is going to, that particular cell is going to represent the entire row. For example, when I take an employee, how an employee is usually recognized in a company, right? For example, if I say a person name is Samuel, there can be 100 Samuels in an organization. How will you differentiate with them? We can differentiate with the help of employee ID, because my employee ID is going to be unique and it's going to be not null. It is going to represent the entire person. You cannot have a same employee ID for more than one employee. Correct? Your employee can have only one. An employee cannot have more than one employee ID. So that is your primary key, right? So you have various constraints like primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, not null constraint, unique constraint, all these things are there, right? I'll just write it down here, constraints that I say primary key. So when I say primary key, it means that it is going to represent my entire row. And next is foreign key. So this foreign key will be a primary key in another table. For example, if I'm going to relate two tables together, right? There may be two different tables, and if I'm going to handshake between this table and that table, that can be done with the help of foreign key. How will I do it? I have a table and I have my data inside present, and that's going to be my primary key, right? And that primary key may be present in another table as a foreign key. So that is how it's going to handshake. With the help of this primary key, I'm going to relate to that table with the help of a foreign key. That's your foreign key. I'll be explaining you in detail in the forthcoming sessions. And then you have not null. So when I say not null, it means that I cannot leave that place empty. It means that I have to give some data. It is must, right? So when I say not null, it means that that column is must. I cannot skip the values without giving, right? I cannot skip the value. It is must. I have to give the value, right? I cannot skip that place, right? And they say unique. So when I say unique, it means that you can have only unique data inside it. For example, email address, phone number, right? So even by mistake, you should not give a same phone number. For two people cannot have same phone numbers. Two people cannot have same mail ID. It's not possible at all, correct? So your email ID will be unique. Your phone numbers will be unique. So these kind of things must be unique. And certain things, yes, not null. Date of birth. You cannot say that I don't have a date of birth. That is must, and you give a not null. And you cannot say that person doesn't have a name. Leave it empty. No, every person will be having a name. So you cannot leave that empty as well. Right? So certain things are there. For certain columns, I need to give certain constraints. For example, in a table, I must have a primary key to represent it, right? If I say I don't have a primary key, then what basis you will be representing it? There may be a lot of redundancy in that. That unique column can be null also, right? So make sure that every table have a primary key and make sure that that is representing the column. And don't give anything else primary key. Primary key means like it should represent, cannot be any repetition. That's very important. Okay, let's go ahead and see the syntax on how to create a constraint, how to add a constraint to an already existing table. I'll say alter table name, and I say add constraint followed by the column that I want to create, right? Whichever column, right? If I want to say more than one column, must be not null. Simple. I'll just say alter table name, add not null, and then followed by the columns. And more than one column to be unique. Just say unique and followed by the columns. I can give more than one column. Yes, it is possible, right? At a time, you can give a constraint for more than one column, but make sure that primary key only one column. You cannot have two primary keys in a table. Got it? Okay. Now let me give an example. Now here I say alter table name, add unique, right? So as I said already, your phone number and email ID must be unique. Just say that alter table followed by the table name. Here my table name is employee, and I say add unique and followed by the phone number and email address. Both things to be unique. I cannot have any repetition in that, right? That is very important, right? So make sure that when you're creating a table, if at all you missed giving a constraint when you create a table, no problem, you have an alter command. If at all you made some mistake, no problem, don't worry about it. You don't need to drop a table and create a new table, right? Some people does that, right? No, I've created a wrong table, right? Let me go and create a new table. No, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Simple. What do you need to do? Just go alter it, right? There's one example. Another example that I'm going to give here is the primary key, right? So what I said already, right? Your employee ID, right? Or if I take, for example, a student ID, right? If it's a patient ID, because there can be more than one name per patient name with Edison. You go and search for the person named Edison, like 3 people are there, right? oh, select one person, go and do an operation for him. No, not like that, right? So you select the patient based on the patient ID, because patient ID is going to be unique and it's going to be a primary key. If I'm going to select based on the name, the person who want to get operated in his stomach will get operated in his head, right? So make sure that you are creating a primary key for every table to identify the entity uniquely. Okay, good. So I'll say alter table name, add primary key and the employee ID. Now here in your table, your employee ID will become a primary key. It means that it cannot be null, right? What are the important things in primary key? It cannot be null. You cannot have a null in the primary key, right? Good. And it's going to be unique as well. So these are the constraints that I can add whenever I require as per my requirement, right? So don't just like that, don't go and say that primary key need to be added, I'll give something as primary key. No, unique must be given. No, not like that at all, right? So if it is required, if your database requires it, if your table requires it, if your program requires it, then go ahead and do it, or else don't go for adding the constraint unnecessarily. Okay. Now modifying a column, right? As of now, we have seen how to add a column. We have seen how to add a constraint. Now we are going to see how to modify a column. Now, how can I modify a column, right? On what basis I can modify a column, right? So if I want to modify a column, I'll say alter table name, modify column and the data type. Now here what I'm doing, as I said already before, right? When I started with alter, I've given some example. I can modify the data type of it. I can modify the name of it. So those things can be done with the help of modify. So alter table name, modify column name followed by the data type. Now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify the data type of an already existing column. Now here I say alter table name, modify column, that's my email, as character. Before my email was varchar2, now I'm changing it to char. Usually people don't do that. From char they'll modify to varchar2. Just for an example I've given here. And if you want, yes, you can do the other way around, not an issue at all, right? So mostly, right, character to varchar2 will be done most often, because if I feel that I don't want to waste my memory unnecessarily, yes, I can go for altering my column name, data type from varchar2 to char, right? And if at all I feel that my number is like only 5, that's not required, that's not enough for me, I want to have 7 digits, yes, you can say number 7. Right? It's up to you to decide whichever you want, right? So, but I'm saying you can modify the column with the help of modify command. How will I do it? Alter table name. As I said already, table, yes, it is must, right? So alter table name, create table name. Yes, you have to do that. Okay. So alter table followed by the table name, modify column, email, and followed by the column data type that I want to modify accordingly, right? Good. Now one more example is giving a default value, right? For example, like I know that all my employees, right, are going to stay only in Chennai, right? I want to get employee only in and around Chennai. Simple. What I'll do, I'll say alter table name, modify address or city, and I make my default city as Chennai. Simple. Whoever comes in and adds their data inside that, by default, the address will be stored at Chennai. No problem at all. What it's doing, it is helping me in avoiding one column, because my default column is Chennai. So if I don't give anything there, it's going to be Chennai. If at all someone is coming from Mumbai or Delhi or Kolkata, yes, I can do that. Just give column name. So that particular column is whatever you want to give. It is going to override the default value, right? So whenever I give a default value, whenever I create a table and then try to insert some data to it, if I miss the column of address, by default, my data will be stored as Chennai, for example, city. If at all I want to give a different city, Mumbai, yes, I can give that. This Mumbai will go and replace the already existing Chennai. You with me, guys? This is how I do it. So I'll say alter table name, modify city default Chennai. So when I say default Chennai, by default, every data which is getting stored inside my table, particular city will become Chennai if I don't give anything there. If at all I give anything extra, then it will get modified to that particular data which I'm going to give, because whatever data that I'm going to give that have more uh, uh, priority than what I have here, right? So this will go always go and overwrite the data. Okay, good. And drop a column. If I feel that that column, particular column in my table is not required for me anymore, simple, drop it. How will I do it? Alter table name, drop column, and the column name which I'm going to delete it, right? So how will I do it? I'll say alter table name, drop column followed by the column name, right? So whichever column that I want to delete, yes, I can do that. Just simply delete it, right? The column alone, right? If I delete the column, the entire content inside that column will get deleted. It will not affect the row. It will not affect the row. Nothing will happen to my already existing data. Only the column will be plucked out and thrown away, right? So no need to worry about if I'm going to delete my column, what will happen to my already existing data? No, nothing. Don't worry about that at all, right? It's very simple. A column alone can be deleted, right? I can remove the column and throw it away without any problem. Yes. How will I do it? Here I'll say alter table name, that is your employee, and drop column name. Now here you can see alter table, the table keyword is used, drop and followed by the column. It means that that particular column I'm going to delete it, right? So email is a column that I'm mentioning with the help of column, right? So drop and column is the keyword here, alter and table is the keyword, right? So employee is the table that I've created, and then the email is the column that I've created there. So I want to delete a particular column. Yes, I can do that. Alter table name, drop column followed by the column name. Right. Rename. Yes. If I feel my column name is not okay, I want to give a different column. Yes, I can do that. Before and all, it is not possible. Like once you're done, it's done. But after the version, after the different versions that come into existence, right? So these things are getting added day by day. Now here, yes, I can do that. I can rename a column. How will I rename a column? What is the purpose of renaming a column? If I feel that that column name is no more good, I want to give a good name for it. Yes, I can do that, right? Very simple. I'll say alter table name, right? It's very important, again, saying alter table name followed by the rename column. Again, here the column is a keyword. I forgot to give it in caps, right? Old name followed by the new name, right? So here alter table name, rename the column, the old name to new name. Okay, how will I do it? I'll say alter table name, rename column email, right? Email is the already existing name, which I'm going to rename it as email ID. So that looks sense, right? That makes sense. That sounds good as well, right? When I say email, what is email? It's an email ID of someone, right? So I'll say email ID. So if I feel that I want to make some change to it, this is not nice. Yes, I can do that with the help of rename command, right? So I'll say alter table name, rename column name, right? Can I rename a table name? Yes, it is possible. That's a different command, separate command altogether. Don't confuse with this alter command. With the help of alter command, I cannot rename the table name. Many people confuse with that, right? So whenever I go for rename, people will confuse with the rename command and the rename option here, which is given, right? So here it is an alter command. The main command is the alter command, and here it's a sub command, right? So alter table name, rename. What are the things that we have seen in alter? Add, modify, rename, drop. Okay, you with me? I'll just have a recap of it because we have seen many commands here. So let me have a recap of what we have done already, right? So what we have seen first is an add constraint, add column is what we have seen first. Yes, we have seen how to add a column, right? So if I want to add a column, yes, I can do that with the help of add command, alter table name, add column followed by the column name, right? So that I can do with the help of add column. If I want to add a constraint, yes, I can do that, alter table name, add constraint name, right? I have to give the constraint name. If I want to give any constraint name, these are the constraint names that we have in common, right? Primary key, foreign key, not null and unique, right? If I want to add a constraint, yes, I can do that with the help of add command, right? Add does two things. One, I can add a column, another one, I can add a constraint, right? Next is modify, right? If I want to modify the column, that is the data type of a column, yes, I can do that with the help of modify command. How will I do it? Add table name, modify column name, right? Modify column followed by the column name. Okay. And if I want to say that I want to modify and set it to a default, yes, I can do that. Alter table name, modify a column name followed by the default keyword, right? So the default keyword is must whenever you want to set a default value for it. And drop, yes, I can drop a column whenever I feel that column is no more required for me. So if I feel my column is no more required for me, simple, go and drop it off. Add a table name, drop column followed by the column name, right? And then rename a column. Yes, I can rename a column with the help of rename command, right? So alter table name, rename followed by the column which I want to old column name to the new column name. Okay. So these are the alter commands that I can do, right? And renaming a table, this is a separate command, right? It's not like an alter command, right, where you rename a column there. Now here it is about renaming the table itself, right? It's very simple. I'll say rename old name to new name, right? Rename old name to new name, right? Here I don't use the keyword table because I'm going to do it on the entire table only, right? So I'm going to rename the table itself, right? Before it is like create table name, alter table name. You can see like drop table. Here it is very simple. Rename old name followed by the new name, right? So I'll say rename old name to new name. Rename persons to employee or rename employee to employees, right? Whatever you want, you can rename. If at all I had a table name as employee person, right? And I feel that no person is no more good. It's about the employee, right? Anyway, he's a person, right? He's a person. There's no doubt in that. Employee is a person, right? Even though he works hard, right? We call him person, right? We cannot change it, right? The same way, right? When I say rename person, right, to the employee, yes, I can do that. If I feel that it is no more good, I can rename the table name. Now here you don't get the table keyword. Truncating. Now, what is the difference between truncate and drop? First, we have seen drop table and followed by the table name, which drops the entire table, the entire structure of it, right? I think we have not seen, we are going to see in future, right? If I'm not wrong. Okay. Now, when I say truncate, now here, this helps me in truncating the table. That is, means that it erases the content of the table, right? Nothing will happen to the table structure. When I say truncate followed by the table name, it will take all the data, erase it off. The structure will be there. The structure will be present. The table structure will not go anywhere. It will be as it is. It will be there in one single place. The structure will be there. Whatever I've created, the table structure will be there. Only the content inside the structure will get off, right? So here I say employee ID. It will be there. Last name. And then first name. Let me give it as F name, and then address, city. What else I've added? Email and phone number. So these are the columns which I have added, and if at all it has some content inside that can be truncated, that can be deleted with the help of truncate command. Okay. Next, we are going to see data manipulation language. So when I say data manipulation language, it is going to manipulate my already existing data. I'm going to do something to it, or I'm going to add something to it, right? Right? Those things can be done with the help of our adding, modifying the data, right? That can be done with the help of data manipulation language. Now, what are those? Insert, update, delete, and merge. Insert, update, delete, and merge. Now, what this insert command does? Now we created a table. right? A table is created, a structure is created, but there's no data inside that. If I want to put some data inside my already existing table, which is created, yes, I can do that with the help of insert command, right? So let us see those 4 commands in detail one by one. Insert. Now here it is not only insert, it is insert into. Together it comes. Insert into, right? The syntax goes like this. Insert into table name, right? This table name is created by me. Insert into table name, and followed by what are all the columns, right? So for example, if I want to insert only for the first 3 columns, only employee ID, name, and address I'm going to give, I'm going to neglect city. Yes, but 2 things which I cannot neglect. What is that? My email ID and phone number, because they are unique, right? So when I say unique, I cannot neglect that, because once I can neglect, second time, yes, it's not possible at all, because unique can have 1 null value. If I want to have 1 more null value, that is not unique, right? That will clash. Okay. So make sure that your unique values are given properly, and make sure that your not null values are given. And if I'm going to skip any not null value, it will throw me an error saying that it is a not null column, but you're skipping it, right? For example, if it is a name, right, and I'm trying to skip my name, it will throw an error saying that not null cannot be left out. You have to give values, right? Good. This is one way of inserting data. Another way of inserting data: insert into table name values followed by the value, right? If I know my column in which way it is present, for example, first column is employee ID, no. Second column is last name. Third column is first name. Fourth column is address, city, email ID, phone number. I know the proper order. When I know the proper order of the columns in which it is present, yes, I can go for this second option. Insert into table name values followed by the value I can give. But if I'm not sure about the column in which it's present, right, which is my first column, which is my second column, and I'm not sure about it, but I know what are the columns present inside that, and I want to store only partial data in that, yes, I can go for the first option, right? So when I'm going to store only partial data, I can go with this. When I know I'm going to store all my data inside that, I have to go with this. If it is partial, I cannot go with this. This is not possible. I cannot inserting of partial data and not possible in this way of insertion, right? There are 2 ways. Insert into table name followed by the columns which and all I want to store, right? That can skip few columns based on the constraint again, right? If my constraint allows me to skip that column, yes, I can do that. But if my constraint is a not null, make sure that you have to give the column. If my constraint is a primary key, make sure that I'm giving that column. Okay, so here, excuse me, I'll say insert into table name followed by the columns. Whichever and all column I want to give, which and all column I want to skip. Yes, this is the best method for that kind of data. If I'm not sure about what and all column that I want to give, then you have to give. If I'm very sure that everything is perfect, I have to give everything, and you fix that mind, then go for the second option. First option, partial data insertion, is best. Second option, all my data need to be inserted, go for that. Okay, good. So this is how you insert your data into it. Like, let me give an example for that. Example, insert into table name, employee ID, last name, first name, address, city, right? And I can give email and phone number, right? And say values, and just values. And now next option, I'll just say all these values. And if I want to skip something, I have to go only for this. For example, if I don't want to give my last name, I don't want to give my last name. Just skip this part alone. Simple. Right? I'll say employee ID, first name, address, city, values 123 Edison, number 2 Chennai. So it makes me more simple that I can, whichever I feel that it is not required for me, I just remove those things and then I'll skip it. You with me? Okay, got it. But here, if I'm going to skip this, it will throw me an error because I'm not in a proper order, right? I'm not in a proper order. Last things can be skipped. In between, I cannot skip, right? It will go and clash. For example, like what will happen? This will be my employee ID. This will be my last name. This will be my first name. And this will be my area address. That will be totally wrong. It will be collapsed, right? That should not happen. So make sure that whenever you're going for insert into table name values, make sure that you're giving this. Okay. Right. Now, so as of now, we have seen how to insert data, right? So if I want to insert some data into it, yes, I can do that with the help of insert into table name and followed by the values inside that. Now, if I want to update my already existing data, for example, I'm changing my name, right? So nowadays people go to numerology and change their names with 5 years, 6 years, right? YYY, XXX, like kind of, right? So that can be done. If for suddenly an employee come to a company and say that, sir, I changed my name, right? So yesterday it was ABC. Today I changed my name to XYZ. The HR cannot say no, get lost. I cannot change your name. No, that's not possible, right? You have to say yes. Come, let's change your name. Give me the proofs that you have changed. And after updating that, he is going to update his database, right? So how will he update it? With the help of update command, right? How will I do it? Update table. Now I'll say update table name, right? Update table name followed by the table name immediately, right? And set which column that I want to change. Change your last name, change your first name. Yes, go ahead. Column set last name equal to something, first name equal to something, where condition, right? This where condition is must. Now, why is this must? That's what I'm going to tell you, right? So what this where condition means? Based on some condition, I'm going to change my data. Now, based on what can I change my data, right? I'm going to change my first name and last name, which I cannot change based on my first name or last name, right? I have to, it should be a unique one. Yes, obviously, I can change my data which is representing my entire data, which is going to represent the entire data in a table, your primary key, right? So always make sure that when I say based on some condition, that condition must be a proper condition. Okay. So for example, if I'm going to check who and all having so and so salary, right? I cannot go and check based on employee ID. I have to check based on salary. Obvious, right? The same way here, if I want to change the name of an employee, I cannot change the name of an employee based on a salary, or I cannot change the name of an employee based on a city, right? For example, change the name of people like whoever lives in Chennai. No, you cannot do that. Or change the name of the people also live in Mumbai. No, that's not possible. If at all I want to change the name of an employee, make sure that you're having something uniquely identifying an employee. Either you can do it with the email ID or you can do it with a phone number. It is always best you can do it with the help of employee ID. Okay. Now here I'll say update table name. What is it? Which is the table that I'm going to update? Employee table. And I say set. What I'm doing, my first name, I'm changing it to John, right? And city, he's changing his name and migrating himself to Delhi, right? He changed his name from Samuel to John, and he's running to city Delhi, right? So he changed his name as John, right? First name as John. He didn't change his last name. He changed his city, right? Where he's going. From Chennai, he's moving to Delhi. And they say where employee ID is 123. So whose employee ID is 123, go and change his name. If you go to an HR and say that, sir, I want to change my name from Samuel to John. I said, good. Tell what is your name. You say Samuel. So just in the database. Oh, 10 Samuels are there. Based on my second name, Edison. Oh my God, 20 Edisons are there. Or go and search based on my salary. Or 10,000. Okay, fine. Oh my goodness. 1,000 people are getting 10,000. Not possible. Better give me your employee ID. Now he's going to give his employee ID. Based on his employee ID, he's going to change his name, right? Very simple, right? So you need to select which will be the right condition to check. Now here, and I say where employee ID is 123. Whenever you find the table which is having his employee ID as 123, go and change his name to John. Okay. So his name is changed now and his city is changed now. Good. So now this is how you update a table, right? Very simple. Update table name, set the column names, which and all column that you want to set. Yes, you can do that, and then you change it, and then delete, right? So we have seen update, now insert, update, now we are going to see delete. Now if I want to delete something, right, delete a row from a table, right, I can do that with the help of, like, for example, a person is getting retired of the organization and is no more present inside the organization. What I can do, I can remove him from the current employee list, put him in the old employee list. Yes, I can do that. How will I do it? I'll just say delete. When I say delete, my entire row is getting deleted from the table. So when I say delete the table, delete the row, that person is no more present inside my, that information is no more present inside my table, right? So I'll say syntax is delete from table name. Where I'm going to delete, see, it's Oracle is like kind of English, normal English. You see, insert into, right, update the table name. Got it? So here previously we have seen what else? I'll say insert into, update table name, update the table, set, right? Set the column name, and then now we are seeing delete from the table. Where I'm going to delete it? I'm going to delete it from, and I say where, right? Delete from the table where this condition is met, right? So if you know English, it's very simple. You can learn the Oracle, right? So delete from table name where condition. When this condition is satisfied, delete it, or else don't delete it. Okay. Now I'll say delete from employee where employee ID is 123. Now here say delete from employee, from the employee table, delete the entire row, that is delete the entire information from the employee when my employee ID is 123. It means that when that entry, employee ID, last name, first name, address, city, what and all, whichever is there, I'm going to delete it. You with me? Okay. So this is how I delete information from a table, right? So previously we have seen deleting a table, right? Deleting a column. Now we are seeing deleting an information from a. Hope you understood as of now, right? We have seen delete, DML commands, DDL commands. Now next we are going to see data query language, that is DQL. Let us see those things in detail, right? So when I say data query language, it is only one thing, that is select. Now what is the use of the select command? It helps me to select the information and provide it to me, right? So select some information, provide it to the user. We are going to see those things in detail. Select. The syntax for select goes like this. Select column 1, column 2, column 3 from the table name. Now what this does, whichever information that I want to select and see, I can do that with the help of select statement, right? So whichever column, for example, if I want to select the employee ID, the first name of the employee and email ID and phone number alone, nothing else need to be displayed. Yes, I can do that. How will I do it? Select employee ID, comma, last name, comma, email ID, comma, phone number from the table name employee. What it does, it will display only these 5 columns, not everything. Okay. And how will I do it? Select, as I said already. When I say star, what it means? Star means all the columns. Star means all the columns. So if I want to display all the columns from the table, I can just say select star from table name. So when I say select star from table name, what and all columns are there? How many columns are there? Every column will be displayed with all the data which is present inside. Okay. Good. But if I want to select only the specific column, yes, I can do that. I'll say select, let's say employee ID, and then I'll say first name, and then I'll say the phone number of the person, and I'll say from employee. Now when I do this, it will select only the first three, only these three columns, not first three, only these three columns. That is your employee ID, employee, your first name, and the phone number from the employee table. It will not display everything. It will display only these three columns. Only these three columns. And distinct value. What is this distinct value? If I want to print only the distinct values, not all the values. I don't want to print all the values. I want only print the distinct values, the unique values, right? So I can use the keyword distinct. How will I do it? I'll say select distinct, the columns, which and all column that you want to select, right? Not all the columns. If you want all the columns, again you will go for star. And if you want to select only particular column, I'll go for select distinct column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, like that from the employee table, right? Now here I'll say select distinct city from employee. Now what the heck, what is the use of this distinct? For example, I have 100 employees working in my office, right? In my organization. For example, I want to see like what and all city, which and all city people come from, right? Maybe people may come from Chennai. Chennai 100 people would be there, and Mumbai 10 people would be there, Delhi 20 people would be there, Kolkata 30 people would be there, Bangalore another 50 people would be there. Now if I say select start from employee, it'll say employee ID, employee name, everything will be there, but I want only the city to be displayed, right? Now people are working from 5 different cities. You know what will happen? It will display information like this: Chennai, Mumbai, and then Delhi. I'll write it here. Since I don't have place, let me erase it. Okay. For example, there are 1,000 employees working in the organization, and people live in different cities, right? And if I want to select who and all there in that city, right? Which and all city present inside that. For example, I have Chennai. So the output will be like this: Chennai, Mumbai, right? And I said Delhi, Kolkata, and then finally Bangalore. So these are the 5 cities where people work in my organization. Okay. So when I say select distinct city from employee, so it will go to the city column, right? It will go to the city column, and then it picks only the distinct values. It picks only the distinct value that print it. Right? It picks only the distinct value and prints it. It not print all the values. It doesn't print all the values. It just print only the distinct values. Right? Even though 1,000 people are there, in my column there may be 100 Chennai, right? Another 100 Mumbai, right? 500 Delhi, or like that, right? 200 Kolkata and 100 Bangalore. Yes, these many things are there. It doesn't print Chennai. No. If I say select city from employee, right? When distinct is not there, when I say select city from employee, it would print 1,000 lines. Chennai, like that. 1,000 times or 100 times Chennai, 500 times Mumbai, another 1,000 times Delhi. Like, no, it doesn't matter. I don't want that. What I want only the distinct values. I don't want the repetition. Just say select distinct from employee. So when I say select distinct from employee, it prints only the distinct cities, right? Select distinct city is my column name from the employee table. Okay. Next, if I want to find how many people are from how many different cities they are coming from, right? So here before in the previous thing, I have said select distinct city from employee. But here I see it's 1, 2, 3, 5. Totally 5 cities are there. But if I want to print 5, show me that 5 cities are there. Yes, I can do that. How will I do it? With the help of count. Now this count method or count function helps me in counting the number of lines which provides by the thing which is there inside my parenthesis. Right? Now here, when I say select count distinct city. Now when I say distinct city, what is distinct city? Yes, I know here. When I go here, when I say distinct cities, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Bangalore are my distinct cities. How many cities? 5. Now when I say select count distinct city, now this distinct city is Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bangalore. This will provide, and I say count of those, this will give you the output as 5. Okay. So when I say select count followed by the distinct column, right? I'll be giving a column. If I give the normal column name, it will print, it will count everything. For example, if I say select count city, it will print 1000 because 1000 rows are there, 1000 entries are there. But when I say select count distinct city, excuse me, it will count everything. It will count everything and will give you only 5. Okay, so that is the work of count function. And when I say count star, as I said already, when I say count star, what will happen? It will print everything, right? It is not distinct. Count star will print everything, okay? But when I say select star from, select star, right? From, then I am giving something here. This is called a subquery, right? This is called as subquery. We'll see those things in detail later. We'll be having a separate I'll be giving separate information on subqueries in the forthcoming session. But as of now, just understand this is a subquery. We'll see those things in detail, don't worry, right? So when I say select distinct city from employee. Now, what is select distinct city from employee? We already have it. Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore, and Delhi, right? So 5 are my distinct cities. This select statement will give you this information. What the select statement will give you? It will give you output as Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Bangalore. I'll write Bangalore here. Right. So these are my output. This is my output for this query, right? When I give some query within parentheses, that's called as subquery, right? So select distinct city from employee. That's my subquery, which gives you Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata. Now here, what this does, when I say select count star. Count star means I'm not giving any constraint there, everything, right? As distinct city. As distinct city. This is, I'm giving an alias name for a column, right? I'm just giving an alias name for a column, right? That particular column. So what will happen? My output would be like this. I'll say distinct city, and this will provide you the output like this, 5, right? So count will provide this. So distinct city, select count star from distinct city. I'll say distinct city will be, this will be my output because the subquery is giving you 5 rows and the outer query is saying select count star means everything from the table. And when I say as, it means that I'm giving an alias name, or else it will say count star here, right? If I don't give distinct city, here my heading will be count star. That won't be like relevant, right? So I want to give always some relevant name for a column. So I'll give a relevant name as distinct city. How many distinct cities are there in my table? 5 distinct cities. Okay, so this is what distinct. Now next we are going to see var clause. This var clause which we have already seen, but we are going to see something in detail, right? What is the use of this var clause and how are we going to use it? So here I'll say select column 1, column 2 from table name where condition, right? So this is by mistake. Just don't think that there are two semicolons for this, only one semicolon always, right? Whether it is like select or anything, always there is a only one semicolon, don't confuse, right? So select column 1, column 2 from table name where condition. Now here, based on some condition, I'm going to fetch the data and provide it to you, right? It is not like fetch everything and provide everything. It is about fetching a data based on some condition. That condition I will decide, right? What condition I want, based on my condition, I can print. For example, if I want to print all the employees whose salary is greater than 5,000, yes, do it. Possible. And if I want to print all the employees who are coming from Chennai, yes, I can do that, right? So based on some condition, I can do that. So I provide a condition there. Based on that condition, select command will go and fetch the data and providing. When I say select star from employee, everything will be printed, no doubt in that. But when I don't want to print everything, wherein I want to print only some value based on some condition, how will I do it? The example is select star from employee where city Chennai. Now what this query will do, we call this as query, right? Every statement what I provide in Oracle or any DBMS system, we call it as query. Now here select star from employee. So when I say select star from employee, every information will be, all the columns are selected, right? Star matlab all the columns, right? So select star from employee where city Chennai, right? So people, those who are from Chennai, print those information alone. For example, 500 people are working from Chennai, it will print only 500 rows, even though you have 1,000 rows in your table. Okay, so this is what we fetch the data based on some condition. This is how I fetch the data based on a condition. And select with AND operation. Now, what is this AND operation does? When I want to select more than one condition, right? If I want to select more than one condition, people those are living in Chennai, and as well as what is their salary, right? So people those are living in Chennai who and all get a salary greater than 5,000. Maybe 100 people are getting salary greater than 5,000 among the 500 people those are from Chennai. Yes, I can do that, right? How will I do it? Select which and all column you want, and you want all the columns, put a star there. From the table name back condition 1 and condition 2. You want to have more than one condition? Yes, I can do that. Condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3. Okay. Now here I'll say select star from employee where city Chennai and city Delhi. Now here what I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick people those are from Chennai and Delhi. So probably 100 here and 500 here, totally 600 rows will be printed. Okay. If at all I want to check people those are getting salary greater than 5,000. So instead of this, I'll say salary greater than 5,000. And put a semicolon. Now what this command will do, this will go and fetch all the columns. Why all the columns? Because I've given star. So when I say star, it will go and fetch all the columns based on the condition. What is the condition? The person should be living in Chennai and his salary should be greater than 5,000. So this is when I say and both the conditions must satisfy. If at all people also are there in Chennai, no one is getting salary greater than 5,000, no rows will be selected. It will be empty, right? So when I say select star from employee where city Chennai and salary greater than 5,000, everyone is getting salary less than 5,000. How many rows will be selected? 0 rows will be selected. Nothing will be printed, right? So this, for this, both the conditions must be satisfied. When I say and, it means that both the conditions. No what? I cannot say like there is no leverage here. Must is must. And means must. Okay. And or operator. Now or means either this or that. Any of this condition satisfied, then print it. Okay. Here I'll say either Chennai or Delhi. So people those who live either in Chennai or in Delhi, those things will be printed, right? So this is how you use or operate. Not. Not is just a negation of it. When I say people those who live in Chennai, I'll say where city Chennai. When I say not, it means that people those who don't live in Chennai print it. Right? So here I say select star from employee where not city equal to Chennai. Right? Whenever my city is Chennai, those rows will not be printed. Other than that, all the other rows will be printed. You with me? So this is what the condition is. Select star from employee where not city equal to Chennai. When my city is not Chennai, print that. So it means that it will print employee those who are in Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, everywhere. Okay. Now, one more thing. If I want to print the top few rows, this is a very good query, right? I would just want to see like only the top 3 employees or top 3 people, not all. I want to print everything. I want to see only the top 3 or top 5 or top 10 or top 100. Yes, I can do that, right? So it's not like I can see the header part of it, right? First 3 rows or first 10 rows. Yes, I can do that. How will I do it? I'll be using the command row num. I'll be using the command row num. So when I say select the columns, which into all columns I want, all the column, put a star from table name where row name less than equal to number. So this number can be either 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Say for example, if I want to see the first 10 rows, I'll say number as 10. So here say where row num less than equal to 10. So when I say row num less than equal to 10, only the 10 rows will be printed, not all. Only the first 10 rows will be first 10 rows, right? Not the random 10 rows. You cannot pick random 10 rows. You cannot pick in between 10 rows. No. First few rows, top few rows, top 100, top 500, top 50 like that. You cannot go in between and search for some 50 rows. No, that's not possible, right? Because many people ask me this question, right? Whenever I train people on Oracle, people ask me this question: can I go and fetch the first middle 10 rows? No, that's not possible, right? Top 10 rows, that's all, right? So row num less than equal to number. Now here this will print the first 3 rows, not all. It will print only the first 3 rows. Okay. Aggregate functions. Min function. So what this min function will do? As name suggests, it will find the minimum value. For example, if I want to find the minimum salary that is provided by the organization, right? The least salary that is provided by the organization. What will I do? I'll say select min of salary from employee. Now what this will do, this will fetch the minimum salary alone, the least salary that is provided by the organization. So here I'll say select min column name from table name. The minimum value will be fetched from the column name. Now here is an example for that. So min salary from the table name. What is this as? So whenever I use aggregate function, it is always better to use a alias name. When I say as, it means that instead of, like if I don't use this, when I say select min salary from employee, the minimum salary in the employee table is 5,000. Then I'll say, here it will show like this, min salary, it's 5,000. Now, but this is not a relevant thing. Now say let me give an alias name. When I give an alias name, what will happen? This min within parenthesis salary will be changed to min salary. Okay, so it gives a proper name for it. It is always better to give a alias name whenever I'm going for an aggregate function like min, max, or something like that kind of. Next is max. As I said already, I can find the minimum salary. The same way I can also find the maximum salary of an employee with the help of select max salary, and I'm giving an alias name for it again, and then from the table. Okay. So this gives me the maximum ever salary that is provided in the organization, and count, as we have seen already, which will count the number of data which is present inside the column, right? And if I want to find the unique count, yes, I can do that with the help of distinct. I can bring in distinct and then, okay. So when I say select count employee ID, so this will give me the total number of employees which is who are working in my employee. I should not, it's not like you need to open the table and say 1, 2, 3. No, it's not required. What you can do, you can just say select count of employee ID. So employee ID is unique and not null, so that your data will not be left out, right? So it prints that all the, it counts all the columns. Sorry, it counts all the rows so that you will get the number of employees present inside your table. Okay. Select count of employee ID as the employee count, right? I'm just giving the information as employee count. This is an alias name, right? Here, guys, like alias name is not mandatory. It is up to you to decide. But if you give, it looks good. Good. And then sum. For example, I want to say that what is the total expenditure for the organization? Total expenditure, total salary that is provided for the organization. Yes, I can do that. I'll say select sum and the column name. Here, I'll say select sum of salary. So it will add the entire column, add the data, entire data, right, in that particular column, and then give me the total salary that is provided in that organization, right? And then average. So this gives me average salary that is provided to an employee in the organization. Now, we have seen few aggregate functions. What we have seen now is called as aggregate function. Right. So what are the aggregate functions? Count, right? Min, max, sum, and average. Right. So these are the 5 aggregate functions that are used to provide you some concrete information, right? Count will count the number of rows in the column. Minimum will find the minimum value in the column. Max will find the maximum value in a column. Sum will sum up everything and give you the total in the column. And average will find the sum and give you the average of it, right? Which is in that column again, right? So all these things work based on a particular column, not for the entire row. It's not for the entire table, for the particular column. For example, if I say, if I want to count the number of employees, better go for employee ID, right? And if I want to provide the total salary that is provided, I'll go for sum. Average salary of an employee, I'll go for AVG, right? Which is the least salary that is provided by an organization, I can go for min. Which is the maximum salary that is given for the organization, I'll go for max. Now these are the 5 aggregate functions that are used in Oracle. Now next we are going to see order by, right? What is this order by and what is the use of it? Let me explain you with an example. Now I'll say select column. What are the columns that I want to select? From table name, order by, right? So when I say order by, I can order the data either in an ascending order or in a descending order, right? For example, if I want to order the data which is present inside my table in the ascending order format of the employee name. So based on the employee first name, order everything. Or based on the employee ID, order everything. Or based on the salary that is provided to them, order everything. I can do that with the help of order by clause, right? So select column 1, column 2, or all the columns by using star from the table name, order by which I want to order by employee ID, order by employee name, right? Either in the ascending or descending order, or order by the salary, right? So by default, it is ascending order that you don't have to give it. If at all I want to store it in descending order, I'll say DESC, right? So I'll be using the keyword DESC for ordering the data in descending order. This is just for selecting. It will not go and modify the data which is present inside my table, right? So select command always selects and provides you the information for viewing. It's just for viewing. It is not for going and changing the content. It will never change the content. Selects command never change the content which is present inside my table. It just gives you a view, a user view. How the user want to view, say do it in that font. Okay. Now let me give an example for it. I'll say select start from employee order by city. So if I want to order the data based on the city, yes, I can do that. If I want to order based on the employee name, yes, I can do that. So in whichever format you want, you can do that. Just give, instead of city, I'll just give first name. So when I give first name here, my data will be ordered based on the first name. That is based on the ascending order. Okay, select start from employee, order by first name. Next example. So if I want to order by city in descending order or order by first name in descending order, I'll say order by the column which I want to, based on which I want to order, and followed by the DEST command, which stores in the, view, gives a view in the descending order. Okay. So this can be anything. It is not required it should be city. It can be first name. It can be based on last name. It can be a number. It can be character. Doesn't matter, right? It is going to order it. Whether it is a number or a character, you don't have to worry about it. The Oracle will take care of it. So if you want to specifically give ascending order, ASC, but it is not required. By default, it is ascending order. Now let us see some wildcards, which helps you in understanding the future part of it, right? So these are the wildcards that are available or provided by Oracle for us, right? So wildcard is in the sense replacing something, right? In that place, something will come, right? For example, if I want to search something, I'll say ABC star. So it means that whichever starts with ABC and followed by the anything it can be, right? So when I say percentage, it represents 0 or more characters. When I give something after percentage, it means that there can be 0 character or more number of characters. The example which I want to give you is when I say BL percentage, it will go and find BL, black, blue, and blonde. Now here BL is must, and after that there can be anything which sees, it sees BL. BL is there after anything, doesn't care, doesn't matter. Anything it can be after BL. Nothing after BL, no problem, right? That is percentage. So this underscore, excuse me, represents single character. Underscore represents single character. Now, if I want to replace only one character in that place, yes, I can do that. When I say H underscore T, now here in this place, it can be anything. That's what it means. There can be any character in that place, hot, hat, hit, anything. But H and T is must, right? Here it can be anything. Here it can be anything, but H and T is must, right? Start with H, end with T, in between only one character. Underscore means only one character, not more than that, right? And this is bracket. This bracket. Now bracket represents I can give more than one characters there. So if any one of the character matches, when I say underscore, only one. When I say bracket, I'll be giving what are the characters that it can match. I'm giving an option there, right? So here I can say H, and it can be either O or T. So A or O, right? So H, it can be either A or O. So it finds hot, hat, right? And it will not find hit. Why it doesn't find hit? I have three words already. Hot is there, hat is there, hit is there. It finds only hot and hat. It doesn't find hit because I've given an option. Either it can be O or A. It cannot be anything else other than O or A. That's what it means. Right? Now here it is cap symbol or caret symbol. Right? People call this caret or cap, anything. Right? So it represents any character not in the brackets. It means that when I give this, it is negating, saying that anything other than O and A, take it. So it will take hit, it will never take hot or hat because hot or hat, it is there, right? It is there, OA. I have given O and A. It means that it should not be there. So since O and A are there, it will not take. When it is not there, take that, right? opposite of it, right? When I put a cap symbol or a caret symbol there, it means that I'm doing an opposite of it, right? And then this is 2, right? This represents, the hyphen represents 2. Now here this is underscore. Don't confuse with the underscore and hyphen. This is underscore. What we are seeing here is underscore, and this is hyphen. Now this hyphen gives a range from here to there, right? When I say C, A to B, so between A and B, or if I say A to Z, any characters between A and Z, including A and Z. Okay, so it finds cat, bat, mat, so it's a cat here, CAT, CBT, CCT, CDT, anything, right? Even CZT at last. Now here, that is what this range means, right? If I want to give any number, I can say, yes, I'll say C, and I'll say 0 to 7, and then say T. So it means that it can find C1T, right? It can find C2T, like that. It can find up to C70, right? So these are the things that it can find. Good. Let us go with the like operator, because why I said about wildcard is that if I want to go for like operator, I should know about the wildcards, because it comes along with it. Okay. Now I'm going to give a pattern next to the like. If it is like that pattern, then take. When I say where, it should be a proper condition, right? Where city equal to Chennai, I cannot give anything there. But when I say I want to give a pattern there, I'll go for like, right? So let us see. So when I say star, select star from condition where, I'm not given equal to here, right? Usually what I give in where, I'll say city equal to Chennai means only Chennai. I cannot give anything there in that. But when I say like, I can give a pattern there, right? So here I'm going to give a pattern, means select star from customer where customer like a percentage. What this percentage means that we have seen earlier. What is that? Percentage means a followed by 0 or more characters. A followed by 0 or more characters. It means that anything starts with a, printed. Anything starts with a, printed. Now if I want to say anything ends with a, printed, what will I do? I'll just say like within single quotes percentage a. So this says that anything that ends with a, because when I say before a I give a percentage, it means a 0 or more characters. It can be more than one characters, but that word should end with the character a. You with me? This is how I do it. Okay. Example. So this is what I've given already here. And then third, when I say underscore a star, it means that first character can be anything, second character must be a, and after that anything it can be. No restriction, right? I repeat again, first character must be underscore, second character must be a, and third character, and from the third it can be anything else, right? And then here I say select star from customer where customer name like S and L. So anything starts with S, ends with L, in between can be any character. Percentage means more than one, right? So in between can be any character, but it should start with S and end with L. Okay. So as of now, we have seen like operator, which helps you to pattern match. Not with the, it's not required to give a proper word there, right? So whenever you want to match patterns, you will go for like, or else you just say where condition assignment operator, so equal to operator followed by the value. But wherein you want to match a pattern, make sure that you are having like there. If you don't have like, you cannot give pattern. Okay, good. In. So this in operator helps you in matching more than one. Let us see how is that. Okay. So select star from column name where from table name where the column name in value 1, value 2, value 3. I can give more than one value. I can give more than one value and check whether that values are present any one of this, right? So it should be in all these values, right? Excuse me. So select star from employee where city in Chennai, Delhi, and Mumbai. So there should be Chennai, there should be Delhi, there should be Mumbai. All these three things must be there. If it is there, then print, or else don't print. So that is what the in command is, right? In means all these must be there. Wherever Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai is there, everything is there, then print it, right? And if I want to have a subquery, yes, I can have it. So as I said already, subqueries, we'll see that in detail in a separate session. Okay. So as of now, we can give subqueries, and based on the output, I can check whether all these things are there inside that. Okay. Next is between. So if I want to print something between this range, for example, if I want to print the employees, those who are getting salary between 5,000 and 10,000, right? I can do that. How will I do it? Select start from employee where salary between 5,000 and 10,000 or 5,000 and 8,000. So here it will be searching the values between 5,000 and 8,000. It doesn't print everything, but prints only the value which is within the range. Okay. So now I can give an alias name for a column, right? As we've seen already, we have seen alias name, right? Yes, we can give with the help of as operator, we can give alias name for a column. So this is giving alias name for a table, right? Before we have seen how to give an alias name for a column, right? I'll say column name as the alias name of the column. And if I want to give an alias name for a table, I'll be giving as the alias name. And this is group by, right? So now what's group by does? For example, if I want to group all the employees information who are all working in Chennai, right? Who are all working in Hyderabad, who are all working in Delhi, who are all working in Mumbai. So this group by command helps me in doing that. How will I do it? I'll say select column name, comma, any aggregate function, and followed by the table name. How will I do it? I'll give an example here. So select sum salary, right? So I'm finding the sum of salary, not for the entire table. What I'm doing, select sum of salary city from employee group by city. Now what this will do, excuse me. So first of all, this will group by city. I'll be grouping by city. What is that? Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, and then Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore. Let me erase it and do it again. I don't have place there. I'll say city. I'll say CH1 for Chennai, MUM for Mumbai. And then I'll say KOL for Kolkata, DEL for Delhi, BLR for Bangalore. Now these are the things will be selected, right? When I say group by means I'm going to group everything. Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, and Bangalore. These are the distinct cities. So when I say group by, it will be finding the distinct values. Distinct values are Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi. Now apart from that, what I do, right? I'll say sum salary. So I'm going to sum salary based on grouping by city. So I'll group all the employees, those are working in Chennai, right? From the entire table, find out all the 500 people those are working in Chennai, right? Okay. Now what I do next? Sum salary. People those are working in Chennai, all the people those are working in Chennai, for all the 500 people, sum out the salary. For example, if it comes around 5 lakhs, so it will say 5 lakhs. Let me put it at So 5 lakhs will be printed against Chennai. Now Mumbai, there are, for example, 500 people working in Mumbai. Take everyone's salary, add it together. Probably it may come around 1 lakh, right? And then Kolkata, another 50,000. Delhi, maybe 10 lakhs. Right? And Bangalore, another 5 lakhs. Now, what is happening here is I'm grouping by the city, right? I'm grouping by the city and then adding all the salaries based on the city. Chennai city, sum all the salaries, right? It is not going to sum everything. When I say sum of salary, just select sum of salary from employee. And from the entire table, all the salary details will be summed and will give you, right? Probably 5, 6, 5, 10, 20, 21, 21 lakhs 50,000 will be the sum when I do that. But when I say select sum of salary, city from employee, group by city. Now what it does, it groups everything by city. City, Chennai, 500 people are there. Add all the salaries. Delhi, 100 people are there. Add all the salaries. Mumbai, 500, another 100 people are there. Add all the salaries. So everything, what it does, it group by the particular column which I'm giving here and then find the aggregate of it. This is how I group by, right? So if at all I want to group by something and provide some particular information for that, yes, I can do that. And having, another important operator in Oracle. Select column names, again another aggregate, group by this and having condition, right? So here we don't use where, mostly whenever I use group by and based on some condition, here I'll not use where, rather I'll use having, correct? How will I go about it? I'll say select sum of salary based on some department. I'll say group by department where sum of salary greater than 10,000. Now, excuse me. I say select sum of salary department from employee group by. It will not group everything and print everything. It is going to group everything, but it is going to print only for that particular department whose salary is greater than 10,000, right? For example, I'll take this as an example. Now here, it is going to print for, you'll say some salary. Now, if I want to print everything, it will print everything. But if I'm going to have a condition here, right? So what is the condition that I'm going to have? Group by city, I'll say having the sum of salary, right? The sum of salary greater than 1 lakh. So when I say sum of salary greater than 1 lakh, what will be printed? This will be printed, this will be printed, this will be printed, and this will be printed. Only 4 entries will be printed. This will be rejected because this is not greater than 1 lakh, right? So this having clause helps me in filtering it out further. So I group by, find the sum of the salary, and I'll say that print only based on this condition, not everything, right? So instead of using where clause, I'll be using a having clause. Whenever I go for a condition checking for an aggregate and there is a group by there, I always go with having, right? Not with where. You with me? Next, let us see subquery. Subquery means a query within another query, right? So this one query is going to provide input for another query. In that case, we'll be using subquery. Let me give you the syntax, how it looks. So I'll say select column 1, column 2, or more than one column from the table name where the column, right, equal to another query, right? So this query is called as subquery. What I'm having here within parentheses, this query is called as subquery. Now, this subquery will be providing you some output, and that output will be provided as input for the outer query, right? Now, this is how we do it. For example, if I want to find the employees who and all get the minimum salary in your organization, right? That cannot be done in one single query. It's very difficult to do that, right? So when I want this kind of scenarios to be worked, first what will I do? I'll check out which is the minimum salary in that employee table with the help of the aggregate function min. So this aggregate function min sal from the employee table, it will provide me the minimum salary. For example, if it is 5,000, right? If 5,000 is my minimum salary in the employee table, then this 5,000 will be provided as input for this where clause. Now, where salary equal to, it means that where salary equal to 5,000. Now, it means that print all the employee details whose salary is equal to 5,000. Or if I want the people also getting the minimum salary, in that case, I'll be using this query. Now, here, this subquery is providing me the input for the outer query, right? So in this scenario, I'll be using a subquery. Let me give you one more scenario where I'll be using in. So instead of equal to, I'll be using in or any operator, not only equal to, any operator can be used. I'll say greater than, less than, anything can be used here. But when I say equal to, greater than, less than, in those cases, I can give only one value, right? So equal to or greater than, less than can be compared with only one value. If at all my subquery is providing more than one value, this subquery is providing more values. If my subquery is providing me more value, I cannot use any operator there directly. I have to go for in. Now, what is this in? I'll tell you, right? So I'll give an example to tell you that. Right now here, I'll say select distinct country from suppliers, right? The supplier from the supplier table, I'm going to find the distinct countries. For example, it will be India, IND. And then next is Canada, CAN. And next is America, let it be USA, right? And next, let it be Middle East, that is UAE. Now I have 4 outputs. What are they? India, Canada, USA, and UAE. Now these 4 outputs cannot be equated. I'll say equal to USA. No, it's not possible. I cannot say less than India, Canada, not possible. Then if I want to find out all the customers, right, who are residing in India, Canada, USA, and UAE, that is not possible with equal to. Better I'll go for in operator. This in operator is equal to is almost equal to like this, where I'll say where country equal to India, right? If I'm going to give, yes, it is possible, right? I'll say India, and I'll say or, right? Or I'll say again country equal to USA. So this or operator, right, can be replaced with the help of the in operator, right? And I'll say or again country equal to USA. Now this is like very big, right? A tedious job, right? I have to give country equal to India or country equal to USA or country equal to UAE. That's very big, right? So instead of that, I can go for in, right? So when I want to compare more than one values, I will be going for in clause. Okay. So this in, I'll say where country in select distinct country from supplier. So the supplier is going to provide me, the supplier table is going to provide me more than one value, and that can be checked with the help of in operator. Okay, good. So let us say another operation with the help of any. So this any is almost like equal to my in. Any of these matches provide me the output. Yes, but the advantage of any is that I can use it even on having clause, not required to be used only on var clause. It can be used on having class as well, right? So var clause and having class both can use any, but when I use in, I can go only for var clause. Okay. Now here, when I say any, now here this is an information, right? What is the information that I'm going to get? I'm going to get which are all the products that has been bought for a quantity of 10, right? So now here, this order details give me quantity 10, where quantity 10, what I'm going to provide, the product ID. For example, the product ID 101, right? 127 and 145 has been sold 10 products each. So this information will be provided, right? And I say any, if I say any one of these matches, this will provide me true. Now here you can see before any, I put an equal to. Yes, it is must, right? Now here I cannot just say any, like in, I cannot use any here. For any, I have to give an operator there before, right? Now I'll say select product ID from order details where quantity 10. This condition is satisfied only for these 3 products. Now I'm going to find the name of the product. How will I find? I'll say select product name from products where my product ID are 101, 127, 145. For all these 3 products, I'm going to provide all the product name, right? It will be like 101 is soap, right? SOAP soap, and 127, let it be oil, right? And 125, it is powder. So these are the information that are provided for this information, right? But for example, if 145 is not there in my products table, right? 145, it is not available. For instance, like 145 is totally sold out, which has been taken totally out of my product table, right? I'm no more selling 145, right? 145 is the one for product ID 145 is no more there in my table. Now what will happen? No problem, it will provide information about 101 and 127, right? That is what any is for. If I use any one of these value is there, then it is true. Any one is matching also, then it is true, no problem. It will provide information about the product ID 101 and 127, right? Now here, one more thing we have, that is all. When I use all, it means that all my products must be present. If it is not there, then it is false. For example, if I say 101, and then I say 127, and I say 145. In this case, right, if I say 145 is not there, as in the previous example, let me take 145 is not there in my product table, right? 145 is not there in my product table. It'll say 101, yes there, 127, yes there, 145, not there. Then it will provide false. So when it is false, nothing will be printed, right? If any one of these is not matching, then it will print nothing. It will clearly throw false. But in the previous case of any, if at all it is any, then it will say true, because if any one matches also, no problem for any. But for all, everything should be present there. Then it will not. If it is not there, if even one is not there, it will say false and nothing will be printed, right? So this query will not get executed. Nothing will be printed. You with me, right? So these are the things that I want to say about subquery, right? Now let us go ahead and see join. Join means I'm going to join 2 tables and provide some information, right? So why should I go for join? As per normalization rule, right, I have to divide my tables, right, as much as possible, because I should not have redundancy or repetition. Much of redundancy and repetition is not good. So what will I do? I'll be what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to join my table, right? So I'll be joining 2 tables and then doing my work. So when I say joining 2 table, that's going to help me in many ways. So when I say joining table, how will I join? One table will be joining with the other table with the help of foreign key and primary key. I'll be explaining you what is foreign key and how to create a foreign key and how to join 2 tables. So let us talk about joins first. So when I say join, join is a clause used to combine 2 or more tables based on a related column between them. So that is going to be a foreign key and the primary key, right? Now here, let me give some more information about it. There are different types of joins. What is that? Inner join, left outer join, right outer join, and full join, right? So these are the 4 different types of joins we have. When I say inner join, by default, a normal join is itself an inner join, right? So when 2 tables are related, if information in the right table is matching with the information in the right table, then print that alone, right? Non-matching values will not be printed. But when I say left outer join, everything from the left table will be printed. Only the matching values in the right table will be printed. When I say right outer join, it is a vice versa. Whichever is related or matching, that alone will be printed from the right table. but wherein in the left, I'm sorry about it, right? When I say right outer join, everything from the right table will be printed, wherein left table, only the matching values will be printed. When I say full outer join, irrespective of values matching or not matching, everything will be printed in full outer join, right? So this left outer join or can be also called as left join. Right outer join is also called as right join, right? Full outer join we can also call it as full join. Let us see some example. Before that, let me tell you how to relate two tables. Now here I am creating a table with some columns here, right? So here I am saying employee ID, which is of type primary key, and I have employee name, it's a not null, and department ID, and then salary, right, for employee table. Now here I say department table, here I am creating department ID, which is my primary key. Now here you can see this department ID, it is getting related with this employee table, right? So department ID is there in my employee table and as well as in my department table. Now here this I'm going to use it as my foreign key, right? As of now, I have not created a foreign key, right? Now I'll say department name and then manager ID. Now here the manager ID is the ID of the manager. That's going to be your employee ID, right? Now here this is going to get related. Now here the manager ID here is your foreign key. It doesn't require to have foreign key in both the tables to get related. Only one foreign key in one table is enough to get related to another table, right? For this example, it requires, so I am creating it. Okay, so you don't have to create always two foreign keys, one in this table, one in another table. No, that's not required, right? One foreign key is enough to relate to two tables. Now we'll say add constraint, right? I'm going to add constraint. Why should I add constraint later? Why should I add a foreign key later? Why not I'm doing it before itself? I'll tell you, right? So whenever I create a foreign key, I need to refer to another table, correct? So when I'm going to say foreign key department ID is belong to which table? Department table. Now it is not possible to create two tables together. Is it possible? No, it is not possible to create two tables together. If at all I create a foreign key, I have to give reference. So there will be always a problem, right? Right? But if in this case, in this scenario, right, because I'm going to have a manager ID which is relating there, and I'm going to have a department ID which is relating here, right? So either one of these, if both the relations are there, then I have to go like that only, right? I'm giving a complex scenario. If it is only one way, no problem. First create the department table. If I don't have any foreign key here, this foreign key is not there, right? I'm not having any foreign key in the department table. What will I do? First create the department table, insert all the values, then create a employee table, and while creating employee table itself, I can say foreign key reference to department table, no problem. But if both the tables are having, I'm just giving you a complex example, right? If both the tables are having foreign key here and there, then you cannot create it just like that. Okay, so for that, what I need to do after creating a table, I'm going to add constraint. What will I do? I'll say alter table, table name, add constraint, constraint name, foreign key, department ID, references department, department ID, right? So this department ID in the employee table is getting reference to my department in the, so department ID in the department table. This is how I relate, right? So this foreign key in the employee table is going to be a primary key in my department table, right? Now here I need to give a vice versa because I'm having two foreign keys, right? This is a complex example what I said to you, right? Now here when I say department table, manager ID is my foreign key, that's going to get related to my employee tables employee ID, right? So I'll say references employees employee ID. You with me? Good. Now let us see how to join these two tables. Before that, I'm giving you some information. What are the things there in my employee table? These are the information that are there in my employee table. I have some 6 employees working in the employee and belong to 3 different departments: 111, 222, 333. This kind of thing. Okay. And one more thing, I have a department table which has 4 departments, for which like I'm giving department name, and for one department, no manager. Right? There is no manager for this department. That's the reason I'm saying manager ID is none, right? I'll say no manager. And moreover, in this 444 department, right, you can see no employees, right? Can you see any employee in 444 department? No. So I'll say in 444 department, I'll say no employees working, right? No okay, so no manager and no employee for that 444 department. Okay, let us see how to join. Now here in this example, what I'm going to take is that I'm going to find the name of the managers, right? So here I have only manager ID, but I want the name of the managers. Now, how will I find the name of the managers? For every manager ID, which is getting related to my employee table, that has an employee name, right? So anyway, that your manager is going to be an employee, right? A normal employee is going to be a manager, right? So I can relate to my employee table to fetch the manager name for that particular department. Now, how will I do it? I'll be using a join. Now here I say select department ID, department name, and employee name to find the manager for that particular department. But here you can see for department ID, I would have given department dot. It means that department ID which belongs to department table, because in both the tables, employee and department table, we have department ID, right? So to avoid the confusion, we are using department dot department ID, right? And then from department, I'll be using inner join employee. I'm going to join both the tables, department table and employee table, fetch the department ID, department name from the department table, and employee name from the employee table. That's the reason I'm joining these two tables, right? After joining, based on a condition. On what condition? When my manager ID is equal to employee ID. When my manager ID is equal to employee ID, print that particular employee name. When I do this, this is my output, right? What will be? 111 training and the employee name or the manager. If I want to give an alias name here, I'll say as manager name, right? So when I give as manager name, this employee name will be replaced with manager name. 111 training department, the manager is Samuel. 222 testing department, manager is Edison. Like that, I will be giving every information with the help of join. Even though this is not there in my department table, with the help of join, I'm joining this is not there in my department table. I'm joining hands with the employee table to fetch the detail and provide you the information. This is what inner join is. Next, we are going to see left outer join. As I said already, in left outer join, everything from the left table will be printed and only the related value from the right table will be printed. Now here I'll say select department ID from the department table, department name, employee name, right? From employee, left outer join department, I'll say on manager ID equal to employee ID. Same query, right? What we have seen previously, same query, but here it is going to be a left outer join. So which is my left table? Employee is my left table, correct? So employee is my left. Employee is on my left and department is on my right. Now here it means that when I say left outer join, everything from the left table will be printed, everything, right? And on the right, I have department. Only the related thing in the department table will be printed. Now here you can see everything from the left, who are all the employees, every employee is printed. But here only the matching values, right? 111 is getting matched with Samuel, 222 is getting matched with Edison, 333 is getting matched with Jordan. So only these three information are getting printed. Even 444 is there, that is not printed because it doesn't have any matching value. Since it is a left outer join, the unmatched value from the right table will not be printed, right? So if I want that to get printed, I have to go for right outer join. Now this is the example for that. Same example, just with right outer join. You can see that, right? These three are related, getting related, right? These three on the left table only related values, right? On the right table, all the values, right? Left table is employee, only related values. Since it is a right outer join, every value from the department is getting printed, right? So next thing is my full outer join. So when I say full outer join, irrespective of related or not related, everything will be printed. You can see that training is related to This training department is the manager is Samuel, testing department Edison, right? Like that, development department Jordan, and finance department no manager again, no manager, right? And then these people are just employees and they're not managers. So in a single table, we can identify, right, which departments have manager, which department doesn't have manager, and which all the employees don't have any designation, bigger designation like manager kind of thing. They're just employees. Now, these are the 4 types of joins that we have. Now, as of now, in this video, from the beginning, we have seen the DDL, DML, and DQL commands, right, in detail. Thank you very much, guys. That's it for this video. You have any doubts or queries, please comment in the comment section. I'll definitely get back to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.